Hey guys, and welcome back to another Conan Exiles video. Today we're reviewing the Nemedian Watchtower bundle, a new cosmetic collection on the bazaar. Firstly, a disclaimer, this set was gifted to me by Funcom, however just like all my other reviews that will in no way affect my opinions of this set, nor will it affect my recommendation or lack thereof. So without further ado, let's get started. The Nemedian Watchtower set comes in at 2,114 Crom coins, which is just under $18. The bundle comes with 6 item categories: the Nemedian Archer armour in regular and epic variants, the Nemedian Archer Bow, again regular and epic, the Sentry Bell placeable, the Stack of Arrows storage placeable, a hanging flag, and the Nemedian Watchtower emblem. So let's start with the armour. Aesthetically, the Nemedian Archer armour is very nicely designed, composed mostly of fabric, padding and hide, with some metal accents and a cape at the back, with an earthen colour scheme of green, tan, brown and white. The boots are calf height and made of hide fastened with strings and metal accents. This leads into 3/4 length pants with a rough hem and tied to the leg with rope, secured at the waist by a padded underlayer beneath a double hide belt. The gloves are open hand and secured around the thumb and look similar to the boots. The shirt matches the gloves and belt, and it's a thick hide tunic with padded sleeves and a white underlayer covered by a padded green shawl. Finally, the helmet looks to be based on a visorless sallet helmet made of simple steel with a hide strap hanging either side of the face. In terms of the stats, they are on screen now. This is a light armour set, and it lines up identically with the base game light armour in both regular and epic qualities. It also carries a 3% agility weapon bonus per piece, so it synergises well with the bow. This armour also takes dyes reasonably well. It has a slight predisposition towards the darker tones, which means that darker dyes won't work as well as lighter ones, as they tend to get darker rather than accurately represent their tone. It's still quite flexible, and though tone reproduction is not perfect, it has decent dye zones and is more than flexible enough to get some very attractive dye designs on. Overall, the Nemedian Archer armour is pretty good. It hits the medieval archer vibe really well, seems to take decent inspiration from real-world sources, and handles dyes fairly well too. All things considered, a good armour set. Now onto the Nemedian Archer Bow. Aesthetically, it's fairly simple whilst having a slight ornate edge that keeps it interesting. The bow has metallic dragon heads on the limb tips that hold the string, leaning into curved limbs with some Nemedian ornamentation engraved into them. The central section becomes a bit more ornate, with a metallic section protecting the arrow rest and shelf at the centre, with some gold detailing over a green inlay, which keeps the colouring consistent with the armour set. The stats for the bow are on screen now. Pretty standard fare really, and there isn't really too much else to say outside of aesthetics. I mentioned in the Lost Pirate review that I was disappointed the sword didn't synergise with the armour, but that isn't the case here. The bow synergises well with the armour set, which is a good design choice in my mind. Overall, the Nemedian Archer Bow is pretty nice, well designed aesthetically, and works properly within the bundle. The Sentry Bell is a placeable similar to the Warhorn, designed to be used to draw the attention of your clanmates. Aesthetically, it stands on tall, carved wooden pillars supported by metal feet and accents, with engraved blocks in the centre and a rounded top finished with dragon heads. The bell itself is a construct of ornately designed brass with hints of patina across it, which adds that little rustic edge to what would otherwise be a very clean placeable. It's a subjective choice, but I quite like the patina. It's a pretty large placeable too, about the height of 2 average sized players. This is an interactable placeable, and it plays a sound when you activate it. This part is all subjective of course, but the sound isn't perfect. It's believable as a bell, but I would have liked it to be a bit more pronounced and have a bit more depth and resonance, but that being said, it's not terrible, it just could be better. Aside from that though, there's little much more to say about the Sentry Bell. I think it works in what it's aiming for. It's aesthetically quite nice, and whilst the sound of its bell can leave a little to be desired, I would struggle to go as far as say it's bad, it's just not as good as it could have been. The Stack of Arrows is a small placeable that is, well, a stack of arrows. I thought this was pretty much nothing until I realised it's actually a storage item. The Stack of Arrows can hold up to 5 stacks of, you guessed it, arrows. It can't store anything else. It does cost 15 shaped wood and 5 iron reinforcements to place, same as the large chest, but it's a far more fitting way to store arrows near your archer posts. Again, at first I just assumed this was a placeable, so I was very pleasantly surprised when I saw it was actually a storage container. It's a pretty decent option for storing arrows, and though it is a little expensive on the crafting side of things considering the slots available, it's a nice thing to have in this bundle, and it's designed in a fairly neutral way that will fit into any base of any theme. Overall, pretty good. Finally, we'll look at the banner and the emblem together. Firstly, the banner itself is pretty large. It's secured to the wall with a wood and metal fastening with a Nemedian shield decoration hanging beneath it. The arm then stretches out, supported by rope, leading into an elevated secondary arm with a dragon head that holds the banner. The banner itself is fairly neutral, with a large field and a small red trim at the bottom. I thought this banner was going to be a bit smaller, so I was pleasantly surprised by it. It's nicely designed, reflects your clan emblem well, and displays it proudly. The Nemedian shield hanging beneath the secured panel is a nice touch, and the actual flag segment is fairly good with decent colour reproduction. The emblem is a Nemedian dragon design, and it's a foreground element. It's pretty simple and nicely balanced, with a sharp and well-defined edge, but the actual icon itself still has the slight detailing of brushstrokes in the main body to keep it grounded. For me personally, it's not something I'd choose to use all the time, though I am still waiting for a Silent Legion helmet of course, but it's definitely one of the cleaner and better foreground emblems. Overall, the banner and the emblem are both quite good. So, all things considered, I think this bundle is of pretty good quality. Mostly everything here is quite well made, it has its place and it works well together. My only real complaint is the sound effects of the bell, which I don't think is terrible but definitely could have been better. I would also have liked darker dyes to work just a touch better on the armour set. They're far from unusable, they just lean a little darker than I would like. To be honest, I like pretty much everything in this bundle. The quality is good, it all works together, it has a consistent style, but my god, the price. $18 is nuts. Everything here is great, the quality's good, the details are good, but the price is really the only thing stopping me from recommending it. Had this been $10, sure, maybe it's not for everyone at that price, but that's kind of the point, you can pick and choose the things that appeal to you. Some people probably wouldn't want this set for $2 if they really don't like the Nemedian aesthetic, but for fellow Nemedian enjoyers like myself, I feel at least somewhat secure in saying that $10 would have been a much more appropriate price. Everyone knows I'm a sucker for medieval aesthetics, but ultimately that's the crux of it. I can't recommend this bundle at this price. The quality is there, the design is there, everything is pretty good from what I can tell, apart from the price. Aside from that, my only real criticism is, again, the bell sound, which is a relatively minor thing in my mind. I think had this been $10 then it would have been a pretty good deal, but for almost $18, I can't recommend it. Hopefully the price of this bundle does drop in the future, or if you only like certain parts of it, do keep an eye out for those segments being sold separately in the future. I could probably see the Nemedian civilian clothing being bundled with the archer armour later down the line. And there we have it, my review of the Nemedian Watchtower bundle. Thank you for watching, and of course a massive thanks to our wonderful esteemed coffee cultists for continuing to support the channel over on Patreon. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. This bundle seemed pretty good to me, but again, it's just the price that lets it down. I think had it been around $10 it would have been pretty well received. Again, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you soon.